MAGA Mike Johnson is panicking on live TV. This is not going how MAGA Mike and Donald Trump planned. They thought that Americans were going to buy the crap that they were selling when they go and blame the immigrants and transgender people for the government shutdown. Nope. All of the major polls show that overwhelmingly Americans are blaming Donald Trump and MAGA Mike Johnson and the Republicans for the Trump shutdown. They control all levels of government, all branches of government, and they've gone on another vacation all week. And Donald Trump and MAGA Mike have specifically said they are not even talking to Democrats, yet alone negotiating with Democrats. And take a look at this data point right here. In a new CBS poll, 36% of people say they have heard the shutdown is about healthcare, what Democrats are focused on. Only 5% say that they believe this is actually about immigration, which is what Republicans have been spreading lies about. That's a significant data point as well. So MAGA Mike was on, did a number of appearances in the morning, did some live TV hits. And so in this hit right here, he looks around and he's like, it's pretty empty here in the Capitol. It's kind of quiet around here. It's been for the last several days. To which the host, to her credit, checks him and says, well, didn't you send the lawmakers home for a vacation? What she didn't say is you sent them home for paid vacation because you don't want them even there to have any discussions with Democrats. But here, play this clip.
House Speaker Mike Johnson joins us from Capitol Hill. Good morning to you, Speaker. Anyone up there to negotiate with?
There's not, Margaret. Good morning. Good to hear your voice. It's kind of quiet around here. It has been for the last several days, and it's very unfortunate because as we're talking, real people are being adversely affected around the country, and some in very substantial ways. I pray that more Democrats in the Senate will come to their senses and do the right thing, and when they have the next opportunity on Monday to vote to open the government, I surely hope that they will.
Well, you did send your lawmakers home to their districts, which suggests we've got probably another week ahead of us of this shutdown.
I just want all of you to think about this. To their credit, the Democratic leaders said, let's have discussions in front of the public because we need to save Americans' Affordable Care Act subsidies. You've already destroyed people's Medicaid. You've cut into people's Medicare. Subsidies for the Affordable Care Act is set to expire. We need to deal with this now. And then MAGA Mike and Donald Trump are like, we don't want to talk to you. They even said, go F yourselves. And they left and they went on a vacation. So I thought this was a good question on Meet the Press to MAGA Mike Johnson. And so Kristen Welker said, but what about the people, even like Republicans, independents, not just Democrats, the people who depend on these Affordable Care Act subsidies in order to get their health care? What are you going to do? Are you going to tell them that you won't let it expire? Watch what MAGA Mike says. Here, play this clip.
Well, let me ask you about what's at the crux of this. Democrats are demanding the funding bill include an extension of the Obamacare tax credits, as we've been talking about. They're set to expire at the end of the year. More than 3/4 of the people who get health insurance through Obamacare actually live in states that President Trump won in 2024. We're talking about some 19 million people, Mr. Speaker. Can those people depend on congressional Republicans to extend those health insurance tax credits by the time they expire?
We have plenty of time to figure that out because, again, it doesn't expire until the end of the year.
Do you commit to that?
I commit to what Republicans have always done and what we've already proven this year in the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cuts. Republicans are the ones in Congress working to improve health care access, quality, and make it cheaper. We want to bring the cost down of health care. Premiums are too high, but it's not because of Republican policies. It's because Obamacare is not working. We're trying to fix it. We've just shown in the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, those reforms we made to Medicaid are not cuts to Medicaid. Medicaid will continue to grow. It's just growing at a slower pace. Why? Because we got illegal aliens and able-bodied young men without dependents off of Medicaid. They were never planned to be there in the first place. And what the Democrats are demanding right now to keep the government open is we put them all back on there. We're not doing that.
And again, doesn't that give away the whole game here? We're going to do what Republicans have always done? Well, you haven't come up with a plan. If you believe that there's a plan better than Affordable Care Act subsidies, Medicaid, and Medicare, come up with one right now, MAGA Mike and Donald Trump. I believe there's one. Okay, the one that I believe is called universal health care, that the government should get every American health care as a human right for free. That's what I believe is better than the Affordable Care Act. But the Affordable Care Act is the best we've got. There was a time when there were 20, 30 million Americans uninsured. These subsidies have kept the prices down for most Americans to a level that's still pricey, but at least somewhat affordable. And if these subsidies expire, people go bankrupt, they lose their health care, they die. So let's have adult grown-up conversations here, please. Now, MAGA Mike over here is asked in another interview in the morning, do I hear you correctly that you as the Speaker of the House want to see the tax credit extended at a future date? So is your point, MAGA Mike, because this could be a point of negotiation, right? So do you believe let's open up the government and then there should be a vote and we can all agree to extend the subsidies and make sure everybody gets health care? Do you agree with that? And MAGA, obviously, you can't trust MAGA and Donald Trump, and the Democrats are right not to trust him. And MAGA Mike here proves why they're right not to trust him, because if you do, they're not going to extend the subsidies and everyone's going to lose their health care and people are going to die in the millions. Here, play this clip.
There's 535 members of Congress in the House and Senate. There's probably 400 different ideas on how to fix that. But we need a little time to do it. We're not saying that we won't negotiate it. We're saying turn the lights back on in Congress, get troops paid, TSA agents and Border Patrol agents paid who are trying to protect us. Yeah. Restore the health care programs that are being stalled for veterans and Medicare recipients who are getting home health. It's all stalled now. Restore FEMA flood insurance programs in the middle of our hurricane program. And WIC programs for young women. We got to get this fixed now.
But just to clarify what you were just saying, do I hear you correctly that you, as Speaker of the House, want to see the tax credit extended at a future date? Is that what you were saying?
No, I haven't staked out any position on it yet because that's not how this process works. We're in a deliberative body.
Right, I'm asking you your position because you said you would be willing to talk about it.
I'm telling you my position. I'm the Speaker of the House. What I have to do is draw consensus among 435 members of my body. I don't get out and project what the final conclusion is going to be. And I've told Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries most recently in the Oval Office with the president just 5-6 days ago, keep the government open so that we can do that job. We were always planning to do that.
So then MAGA Mike continues his gaslighting tour, and he says, well, we all know that the author of Project 2025, who's now the one responsible for making all of these cuts with Donald Trump, Russ Vought, who runs the Office of Management and Budget, he doesn't take any joy in firing people. He doesn't take joy in destroying the government. Didn't MAGA Republican Senator Mike Lee said that Russ Vought has been waiting for this since puberty? Didn't Russ Vought say he can't wait to get that position if Donald Trump were to win when he was just Mr. Project 2025 guy? He said because he would love to inflict trauma on government employees. He goes, we need to give them trauma. Direct quote, look it up, Russ Vought, we need to inflict trauma on Americans. They deserve to feel pain. A direct quote from these sickos. Here, play this clip of MAGA Mike Johnson. Let's play it.
And vote to keep the government open.
But it's never happened before. We see furloughs. We don't see furloughs. We don't see layoffs, though.
In a situation like this, where the Senate Democrats have decided to turn the keys to the kingdom over to the White House, they have to make tough decisions. Russ Vought runs the Office of Management and Budget. He has to now look at all of the federal government, recognizing that the funding streams have been turned off, and determine what are essential programs, policies, and personnel. That's not a job that he relishes.
So Medicare's Board of Trustees just projected that the Part B premium will jump next year by over an 11% increase. This impacts seniors on original Medicare as well as Medicare Advantage plans. At the same time, many Medicare Advantage plans are going to be discontinued outright. That means even if you like your current plan, your costs could go up, your coverage could change, or your plan could disappear. That's why I tell our listeners, the MeidasTouch Network, to call our Medicare partner chapter. They're the only advisors who compare every plan nationwide to make sure that you are on the plan that best fits your needs. On average, they've saved people $1,100 a year, including hundreds from our audience. In under 20 minutes, Chapter can review your options. If you're already on your best fitting plan for 2026, great, you're done. If not, they'll help you switch before costs rise. Find the plan that's right for you by dialing 82 Medicare. That's 82 Medicare, and speak with a trusted advisor today. And then Kristen Welker asks MAGA Mike Johnson, they say the House is not in session right now as well, and that you've ordered all your members to go home because you don't want to swear in Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva from Arizona's 7th Congressional District because she would be the 218th signature on the discharge petition to force a vote to release the Epstein files. And then MAGA Mike's like, oh, that's totally absurd. Okay, well, when are you going to swear her in? Here, play this clip.
There is, Speaker, still critical work, though. And as you know, many Democrats have looked at your move. They say the House is not in session because you don't want to swear in this newly elected senator, the Democratic Congresswoman from Arizona, who would be a critical vote to releasing the Epstein files. How do you respond to that charge?
It's totally absurd. This has nothing to do with that. It's another red herring. The reason the government is closed is because Chuck Schumer and 43 of his Democrat colleagues in the Senate have decided now to vote multiple times to keep the government closed.
When are you going to swear her in? I don't get why Kristen Welker, who has like a week to prepare these questions, didn't then ask, okay, so why don't you swear her in tomorrow? When are you going to swear? Will you commit right now to swear her in the way you've sworn in every Republican immediately? In close elections, she won by over 40 points in that special election in Arizona's 7th Congressional District. This is how terrified they are of the release of the Epstein files, and I think it's one of the major reasons why this shutdown's taking place. The Trump-Jeffrey Epstein shutdown in full force and effect. Just look at MAGA Mike over the weekend. He was caught at a swanky D.C. restaurant enjoying some fancy food. Must be nice, MAGA Mike. And then a reporter asked Donald Trump, so as MAGA Mike saying all of this, a reporter then asked Donald Trump, so are you open to extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies? Are you going to do it? Watch what Trump then says. Here, play this clip.
President, are you open to extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies?
We want to fix it so it works. It's not working. Obamacare has been a disaster for the people, so we want to have it fixed so it works.
You heard what he said. We want to fix it so it works. It's not working. Obamacare has been a disaster for people. No, it hasn't. It has not. By the way, is healthcare still expensive? Yes. Is healthcare still too expensive? Yes. Does it need to be reduced? Yes. But you're not going to reduce it, Donald, by doing what you're doing, saying, okay, prices are now down 1,600%. That's not even a percentage of things can decrease to. You're just making things up. All right, I hereby declare all pharmaceutical drugs are most favored nation prices, meaning Americans get the drugs the lowest price that pharmaceutical company pays, charges in another country. That hasn't happened. You're just lying. You're making things up. Things can't decrease 1,700%. Pharmaceuticals are not decreased right now to the lowest amount it is in any other country. It's just fraud by you. It's lie after lie. And as I said before earlier in this video, if you've got a better plan for the Affordable Care Act, as I think I do, universal health care for all, then come up with one. You in your first term, I know your plan was coming in 2 weeks. Now the plan's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks. You're not putting forward plans. American people are suffering. You can't just push everybody off and have them die. This is life or death stuff, and the American people know it. More from Donald Trump here. The Democrats are causing a loss of jobs. I hope everybody, then he goes, I hope you all know that. And then he goes, but I hope you like the Presidential Walk of Fame. Do you like the Presidential Walk of Fame? Look at all the golden portraits I have. Here, play this clip.
Your post on Gaza sounds begin firing federal employees during this government shutdown.
That's taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown. It's their shutdown.
What agencies does
and I hope everybody likes what's the Presidential Walk of Fame. You know that? Have you seen it's beautiful, isn't it? Presidential Walk of Fame. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations to the Navy. They did a great job today. Thank you very much.
And that's the thing with Donald. He wants to talk about everything other than what his job is. These people are supposed to be public servants. They're supposed to be serving we the people. And he wants to talk about golden ballrooms, commemorative coins with his face on it. He wants to talk about turning the Rose Garden into Club Rose Garden. We the people want to talk about healthcare and education. And we want to talk about the affordability of everything right now. Things have gotten so much worse. And you can't just go, oh, I reduced inflation. Things are great. No, you didn't. Things are worse. Things cost way more right now. The situation is far worse. Here you have MAGA Mike Johnson. Again, here he says, the Democrats want to fund health care for illegal aliens. It's in their bill. To which the host goes, I've looked at the text. It doesn't say what you're indicating. Watch what Johnson says. Here, play this clip.
Because they want to do this. You know what they counter propose? They want to spend $1.5 trillion and they want to return hard-working taxpayer dollars to fund health care for illegal aliens. It is in their bill. Go to speaker.gov and see it for yourself. Page 57, section 2141. They're using this for political games, and it is shameful, and real people are getting hurt.
Well, I have looked at that text. It doesn't explicitly say what you are indicating, but unauthorized immigrants aren't eligible for ACA
yes,
benefits.
It does. It says very simply they want to repeal the changes that we made in the Working Families Tax Cut, the One Big Beautiful Bill. And what those changes were is it removed health care going to illegal aliens. It removed all the fraud, waste, and abuse. And the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, said it achieved the desired result. They project it'll save almost $200 billion. Chuck Schumer's proposal on page 57 wants to return that $200 billion of taxpayer funds to pay for illegal aliens and other non-citizens. That is a fact. And you can check it out on my website, speaker.gov. Don't trust me. Look at Chuck Schumer's own paperwork.
Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, thank you for your time this morning. We'll be right back.
And again, he keeps citing this provision. Look at this page. Look at this subsection. Like he thinks it sounds smart. Subsection, page number. I've looked at the subsection. I've looked at the page number that you're talking about. It doesn't say anything about that. The people who are entitled to get health care are here legally. They're here lawfully. It is unlawful. It is illegal for undocumented migrants to be on Medicaid, Medicare, or an Affordable Care Act plan or get a subsidy. Is it true that if an undocumented migrant is dying, that they get treated in an emergency room? Yes, because doctors don't ask for your immigration papers in an emergency room, because that could also first off, hopefully because they're human beings, that's the Hippocratic Oath, and that's the right thing to do. Let's start with that. But even if you took a selfish perspective, they're going to ask you for your papers, and while you're shuffling, you walking around with your papers, you can die versus getting treated in an emergency room. And also, the money is going to reimburse doctors and hospitals. It's not getting paid to the migrant. It's being paid to doctors who are doing their job in a hospital. Like, let's talk about the reality of the situation here. But no, MAGA wants to talk about what? Commemorative coins with Donald Trump's face on it. Look at the coins, everybody. $1 coins featuring Donald Trump. We'll make it happen. We don't want that. What are you talking about? This is Donald Trump's top economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, talking about commemorative Trump coins. Play this clip.
Before you go, I'm really curious what you think about this Treasury Department development of a $1 commemorative coin for the U.S.'s 250th birthday. U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach shared draft images of the coin, and it bears the image of the current president, President Trump. This despite the fact that an 1866 law enshrined in the U.S. Code says a living person cannot be featured in U.S. currency. This is obviously dates back to concerns about wanting to avoid the appearance of a monarchy. Is President Trump planning on changing that law?
Right. The fact is that we've got great plans for the 250th anniversary. And in fact, you should watch the festivities today where President Trump is celebrating the Navy. And in terms of reading through what is and isn't available under that law, there have been times in the past where commemorative coins have been printed with the faces of living people. And so I think that they're on solid ground if they decide to do that.
So I hope you see what's going on here. You see MAGA Mike panicking, liar, weird. And the Democrats have said, let's go anytime, any place. Let's do this in public. Let's have a real conversation in front of the American people. And MAGA says, let's go on vacation. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.